Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to the draw for the Northern Ireland Open on Online Snooker Club. This is the second tournament of the OSC season, and we're just going to get back. We're just going to go through that in a minute. I'm just going to adjust something for a moment. Just need to change something. Okay. One moment. Okay, I think we're done now. I think that's stopped the background noise. Just a bit of sound issue there. Okay, so we are going to do the draw, and 8 players have entered. And as you can see on the left there, let me just bring that up a little bit. Pot 1 will be the the highest entered players, and pot 2 will be the lowest entered players. This will be a theme over the season, except for the Triple Crown events and the finales. There's 5 finales within the season. I'll just show you that here. So there you can see the current main tour points table, and you should be able to see the table as it stands at the moment. So we have on the left in orange the pots. Now I just need to adjust that because 8 players have entered, so it's not the top 16. This will be the quarterfinal, straight into the quarterfinal. So I just need to adjust something. So Nikos is in pot 2. So is PMX, and so is ALK. So there you can see the pots. So the top half of the draw will be pot 1, and the bottom half will be pot 2. This will be a theme over the season. If you look above the green area, you'll see the list of tournaments that we'll be playing. We've already in white the first one on the left. Here is the British Open, which was won by Jim Gikakis, and he received 100,000 points, which is represented there in the points column on the left in white. Stevie or Stephen Watts was second runner-up, and he received 50,000 points, and so on. Alex and Carlos. So Jim, Steve, Alex, and Carlos were the top 4 players in that tournament. And because only 8 players have entered, and it's a quarterfinal, so therefore it's split into 2 groups of 4, and that means that the pots are assigned as they are. And of the lower players, PMX, Nikos, Dave Lewis, and Alan Lockett are in pot 2. So that's how the pots are going to be. And just a note, if you go back to looking above the green where you have a list of tournaments, you have the British Open, And then now we're currently playing the Northern Ireland Open. Sorry for the background noise. My computer's making a terrible noise. I don't know if you can hear it, but forgive me for that. Then we have the English Open, UK Championship, Scottish Open, and then we come to the first finale, which is the World Grand Prix, and that won't be put into pots, in the sense that this will be a finale and it will be the top 8 players in this points board, will compete for that tournament. And then we have the Champion of Champions in yellow there. That will be the winners of the last 2021 OSC tournament. So anyone who's won a title in 2021 will compete for that title. Then we have going into the new year. The first tournament will be the German Masters, the European Championship, the OSC Shootout, the US Masters, and then again we'll come to the Masters, which is another race to tournament, a finale, where before that tournament starts, whoever is the top 4 players in the table will compete for that tournament. Then we have the Welsh Open, the China Open, and then we come to the third or the fourth, in a sense, finale, which is the Players' Championship. And again, that will be the top 4 players on the points table at that time will compete for that tournament. And then we have the Turkish Masters, Gibraltar Open, and the World Championship. And which brings us to the final finale, the Tour Championship, and that will be, again, the top 4 players in this points table at the end of the season will compete for that. So just to say, in terms of splitting it into pots, just to quickly explain, when we come to a tournament, so for example, we're on the second tournament, the Northern Ireland. It's the highest players and the lowest players will be split into 2 pots at the time of the tournament. So this is just to allow a bit more fairness, allow players who are really at a high level, i.e. Jim Gikakis and Papadakis Mixol, who kind of dominated last season. It's just to try and not allow those type of players to monopolize the event, just to bring a bit of competitiveness and give everyone a chance to compete throughout the season. We'll keep an eye on how this works. So I appreciate, maybe, for example, Steve, Alex, Carlos may feel that they're in the same draw as Jim, as opposed to the other players that are avoiding Jim. But take into account the whole season. So depending on if Steve, Alex, or Carlos doesn't do too well or goes out in the quarterfinal, then they're more likely to be avoiding the top players in the next round. So it's just a way to try and keep it fair and competitive. There is some quite interesting news in the background in terms of the season, but I can't say what that is at the moment. I don't want to say it if it doesn't happen, but there is some promising addition to the season that I'm hoping to announce in the next few weeks. I'm kind of working in order to make it even more interesting to compete and to attract players, both new players and the players who don't really, they're there in the background. They play here and there, but they're not responding, or for whatever reason, just to encourage them to play. But I'll speak more about that another time. But just to say that there are interesting developments that I'm hoping to announce pretty in the next few weeks that will make the tournament a lot more interesting for you. But let's go on now to the draw. So as I said, there are two pots, and we're going to do pot one first. And just to say, because it's the quarterfinal, what this means is the quarterfinal match can be played tonight, Tuesday. Usually the quarterfinal is played on Thursday. So technically, it can be held till Thursday if a player wants to do that. There'll be no obligation necessarily to play tonight, because this is supposed to be the last 16. But you can play the quarterfinal tonight between 8 and 11. And if you do, the next round will be next Tuesday. The semi-final will be next Tuesday. The semi-final is always on a Tuesday. The final is always on a Thursday. The quarterfinal is always on a Thursday, and the last 16 or last 32 is always on a Tuesday. So it goes last 16, last 32, last 16 Tuesday, quarterfinal Thursday, semi-final Tuesday, final Thursday. That is the structure of the season for all tournaments. The shootout is different, and you can, if you look on the calendar, you'll see that that is scheduled to be on a Sunday, but that is something we can talk about another time. So there's, you can see top left, pot one and pot two. Just ignore, I just need to change that to highest entered, and this is lowest entered. Wim de Ruiter is on holiday at the moment, so he should be back for the next tournament. Ken Hopper is currently not available to have been in contact with him, but for his own reasons, he's not able to play in this tournament. Jamie Anderson, Mohamed Fawzi, Maria Gonzalez. Let me just see. Get back to the Jamie Anderson. Kieran Leahy has informed us that he won't be able to play because of work commitments. Jamie Anderson, we've not heard from. I think he's still debating whether or not it's worth him playing. But hopefully he will see that we are trying to make it as competitive as possible, and but that's entirely up to him. Wim de Ruiter, as I said, is on holiday, and Mohamed's not entered for some reason. I'm not sure why. So it would be nice if you are watching this, Jamie, Mohamed, or any players that haven't informed us that played this season. If you could just give us a quick shout, what you're intending to do. Is it just this tournament? Are you going to compete when you can? Just keep us updated. Let us know what's happening. It is very helpful as an administrative point of view to be able to just know where we're going, so I don't have to second guess everything. It just makes the tournaments run smoothly. And any ideas any players have, please feel free to contact me, David Battlequilt, in my private chat, in terms of how the season is, the structure, what other types of series or tournaments you want. I am hoping to implement a team system, but again, it all depends. I think the first thing we need to do is to get a solid 20 players. 16 would be great. So anyone who knows players out there who you feel would be reliable, would be interested, just pass them on to give them the website, the OSC website link, and let them have a look. And quite happy to approach me on Facebook. And or if you know of someone you've not had a chance to speak to, but you think they might be interested, just tell me their name and I'll try and search them and invite them along. But it would be great if we can get 16 players. And once we have 16 players, regular players, 16 to 20, then it will be more possible for the special announcement that I want to introduce, or a more to make it more interesting. To have a good, reliable amount of players would make it more possible. Again, I will talk about that in the future. Okay, let's get on with the draw. So the draw, like I say, will be, as you can see on the right there, pot one. And these are players Jim Kikakis, Steve Watts, Alex Jordan, and Carlos Bigger. And so what I'll be doing is spinning the wheel, and the player that comes up first will go into seed 1, and then the second player I will bring out will go into seed 2, and the third will be seed 3, and the fourth will be seed 4. And then that will mean seed 1 will play seed 2, seed 3 will play seed 4, seed 5 will play, and then I'll go into pot 2 and draw out 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5 and 6 will play each other. 7 and 8 will play each other in the first, in the quarterfinal. So without further ado, let's go on and make the first draw for seeds 1 and 2, who will play each other in this quarterfinal, which is best of 5. All rounds are best of 5 in this tournament, except for the third place playoff, which will always be best of 3. So we have the players ready. There you see Jim Kikakis, Steve Watts, Alex Jordan, and Carlos Bigger. So I'm going to make the spin now for seed 1 in the Northern Ireland Open tournament. The arrow is on the left at 9 o'clock from a clock perspective, and the first player to be drawn is Carlos Bigger. So he's seed number 1 in this tournament, and let's go for who he will play, who will be seed 2 and who will play Carlos Bigger in the quarterfinal of the Northern Ireland Open best of 5. Let's go. Carlos Bigger, he came 4th, lost in the third place playoff, got to the semi-final though, and has accumulated just over 20,000 points. He will play Stevie Watts. You will play Stevie Watts in that quarterfinal. And let's now go for, so those two will play. And let's now go for seed 3. Now I've just noticed that the players have Jim Kikakis, the players are still on the board. Usually they're taken out, but luckily it's worked out as in all three separate players were drawn. So Jim Kikakis goes in seed 3, which means Alex Jordan will go into seed 4. So match 1 will be Carlos Bigger versus Stephen Watts, and match 2 will be Jim Kikakis versus Alex Jordan. Now let's go on to pot 2. And this is, let me just double check that the players are removed. They are, yeah. So this is Nikos Gerolis, Papadakis Mixol, and Dave Lewis and Alan Lockett. So this first spin will be for who is seed 5 in pot 2. Let's make the draw. We're looking for the left-hand side of this wheel. And it looks as though it's Nikos Gerolis is the first player in out of pot 2. So he's seed 5, and now we'll make the spin to find out who he will play in this quarterfinal tonight or on Thursday. And there we have it. It's Papadakis Mixol. So Nikos Gerolis will play Papadakis Mixol in match 3 on the bottom half of this draw. And now let's make the draw for seed 7 and 8. But seed 7, whoever comes up next will be seed 7. And let's make that draw now. And is Dave Lewis is seed 7, which means that Alan Lockett is seed 8. So we have the draw. Match 1 will be Carlos Bigger versus Steve Watts. Match 2 will be Jim Kikakis versus Alex Jordan. Match 3 will be Nikos Gerolis versus Papadakis Mixol, and match 4 will be Dave Lewis versus Alan Lockett. And the winner of match 1 here will play the winner of match 2. The winner of match 3 will play the winner of match 4 in the semi-final. And then the winner of those 2 semi-finals obviously will go into the final and third place playoff. So that's just about it. Let me just add the players who have entered. So we have Carlos Bigger. Then he will play Stevie Watt. Right, okay. Why is that locked? Right, Stevie Watt. Jim Kikakis will play Alex Jordan. who is naming this is Chuppermans for some reason. And then bracket 2, we have Nikos Geroulas versus Papadas Mixo. And then we have Dave Lewis, and he will play Alan Lockett. So that's there. I'll tidy it up. If you go to the tournament.com event page for this tournament, you will see in the next half hour it will be all refreshed and ready for you to reference to and look at and use. Just to say, when you do go on the, let me just save that. When you do go onto the tournament page, which is here, once you're logged in, then you will see you can see on the top on the tabs here. Once you're logged in, you will also then see your relevance to the match. You can go into the lobby and you can also report your scores, and that is encouraged if you can just go onto the event page, log in, and then obviously if you've entered into registered, then access to your matches will come up on the screen once you've logged in. But that's the end of the draw for the Northern Ireland Open. Good luck to all players. Like I said, you can play tonight or Thursday because it's the quarterfinal, which is not due till Thursday. So whether you want to prepare, practice, and get ready and play on Thursday, or whether you want to just play it now, that's entirely up to you. But the deadline to play the quarterfinal is Friday, midnight on Friday. Thank you for watching. Good luck to all players, and au revoir.